So we've reached the end of chapter 3, you guys. I figured I'd make a video for a chapter 3 test review that just sort of walks through a lot of the different types of problems that we'll see on this upcoming assessment. There will be bits of vocabulary questions, some true, false, and asking you to define some stuff: parallel, perpendicular, transversal, an understanding of slope as rise over run, the rate of change on a line, understanding what it means to take the opposite reciprocal and how that connects to perpendicular lines, and of course, alternate interior, exterior, corresponding, and consecutive interior angles. So let's start with those vocab words towards the bottom here. So if we look at these four examples, we'll see vertical, alternate interior, alternate exterior, and corresponding, right? Corresponding meaning they represent the same position. What are we missing from here? Well, hopefully we recognize that what we're missing is consecutive interior. Okay, consecutive interior. Now, consecutive interior, okay, it's a pretty crucial one for us to have an understanding of, because all these examples here, vertical, both alternate interior and exterior, and then corresponding, they have in common is that they lead to congruent angles. Consecutive interior is different. Consecutive interior is when we're dealing with these two. And with those, the relationship is supplementary. It's pretty important for us to have an understanding of. Okay. So here's our first problem to work with. All right. Now, is it part of the problem to tell me what the relationship is? No. But are you going to be able to answer this successfully unless you can recognize that this is a pair of corresponding, and corresponding angles are congruent to each other? So my setup should look like this. So I can get a final answer here, -5. Our next problem, right? Let's take us towards where we are right now in the chapter, towards the end. Can you write the equation for a line that goes through this point and is perpendicular to this line here? I always like to recommend give yourself a little sketch of the situation. Right? 4, -3, probably be somewhere like out here. And then this line has a positive slope, negative y-intercept. So probably looks something like that. And the question is, there must be this line that goes through this point and right here at 90 degrees. Step 1, let's find the new slope. My slope was originally 2. When I take the opposite reciprocal, that is what's going to be my final slope. Okay. My next step would be, so my first step is slope, my next step is the y-intercept, because I can't use this anymore. Okay. So I know that I have -1/2 x, but it's an unknown y-intercept, right? Look at this. I don't know where it is yet. Okay. How can I figure it out? Well, I have 3 variables in there, x, y, and b, but I can replace x and I can replace y with information here. So this is going to lead to a b value of -1. So a final answer of y equals -1/2 x minus 1. All right, back to one of these problems. Hopefully we immediately right away we can be like, oh, consecutive interior. Is that part of you getting the points? No. Are you going to be able to solve unless you can recognize that? Yeah, also no. So these need to add up to 180. So x plus, what's this going to be? 189 equals 180. Subtract 189 for both sides. There we go. Right here, I'm asking you just for the slope, right? So don't overcomplicate things. Sometimes I'll just ask for the slope. What's the rate of change? I'm going to do 13 minus negative 19 over 16 minus 0. As much as these are large numbers, it actually simplifies right down to 2. And that would be it. That would be my answer. Now again, I don't ask you for the whole equation, but you can figure it out pretty quick. Why could we figure it out so quickly? Well, because this is the y-intercept. Do we always get this as one of the 2 points? No, but in this one we do. X of 0. So that should immediately make me think that this y could also be the b value. Okay, let's talk about slopes a little bit more. Finding the slope of a line parallel to each given line. This is a unique case. X equals 5. That should immediately be making me think, oh, that's a vertical line. Because the only thing that's consistent is the x value. What does that say about its slope? It's what we call undefined. It's one of those special cases. If that slope is undefined, then guess what? Any other line that's parallel to it will also have an undefinable slope. This one a little more straightforward. We're just practicing the ability to take the opposite reciprocal. I know it's opposite reciprocal because I see the word perpendicular. So negative 8, I'd flip it over to 1 over 8, and I go from negative to now positive. And that's my answer. All right, here we have another question. This time, this is probably one of the more complicated questions that I'll give you. Not complicated, it's just so much as it takes the most steps. I want the equation. Any 2 points has a line that goes through it. And so we're looking for the equation that goes through these two. Okay, so why don't I start by finding the slope? I can't do anything until I have that. Okay, so why don't I do 1 minus negative 5 over 2 minus 5. 6 over negative 3. Simplify that down to negative 2. So now I need to find the b value by taking y equals negative 2x and filling in the information from either one of these. They're both points on the line, you guys, so they have to satisfy the equation. They have to work. All right, I'll go with the smaller numbers just because. So 1 needs to be equal to negative 2 times 2 plus b. So I add 4 to both sides. My b value is 5. So I get to say y equals negative 2x plus 5. And if you really wanted to check your work, you could take this one right here and confirm, hey, does that work? And it will. I have the utmost confidence in you guys on tomorrow's assessment. Take a look at this video while you're working on your study guide. I hope it helps.